Hello friends, Christmas is here. Time to bake a cake. Christmas cake is really delicious, loaded with dry fruits that are soaked in alcohol. Now, how long do we soak these fruits? You can even soak them one day before baking the cake, or few days before, or few weeks, few months, as long as even 1 year. A lot of people, they as soon as the Christmas is over, they soak the dry fruits for the next season. Now the alcohol that you can use for soaking is rum. Basically rum is preferred by many, but you can use whiskey, brandy, sherry and vodka also. So you soak these and also add some cinnamon or orange zest to it and leave it in the refrigerator. The more they soak, the better they taste. And the cake is baked with these fruits loaded. It's very rich and dense cake. You can make the cake. This alcoholic cake stays very good for a long time. So people even bake couple of months ahead of Christmas also, but they do not do the glazing. You can just preserve this cake in the refrigerator, wrap it up after cooling. You wrap it up in the cling film and refrigerate it. When you want to serve it that day, you can take it out and do the glazing. And before storing, we have to feed the cake with alcohol. That's very important. That matures and preserves the cake. After the cake is baked, you prick it all over the surface with a stick and pour alcohol with the spoon. But remember one thing, the alcohol that you are using for soaking the fruits, the same has to be fed to the cake. Otherwise, do not mix the two alcohols. If you are soaking with rum, feed with rum. Likewise, use the same alcohol. And the non-alcoholic version cakes can be soaked with orange juice or grape juice. You have to soak them one day before baking, and even the cakes you cannot preserve them like the alcoholic ones. But you can do one thing, you can make the cakes, freeze them. After freezing, you can just remove them from the freezer, defrost, and then do the glazing before Christmas. But they do not stay long, few days you have to consume. Whereas the alcoholic ones can be kept in the refrigerator even and enjoyed for 3-4 months also. They stay very good. They don't spoil because there's so much of alcohol gone into it. So today we are going to make the alcoholic version. I'm going to make with a lot of dry fruits, and I've soaked them with whiskey. And I'm using whiskey also for feeding the cake. So let's head to the kitchen to make the cake. For Christmas cake, these are the ingredients we require. Flour 150 grams, organic jaggery or brown sugar 150 grams, butter 150 grams, walnuts 25 grams, cashew nuts 25 grams, apple 1 peeled and diced, 2 eggs, orange marmalade 1 tablespoon, baking powder half teaspoon, 5 spice mix 1 tablespoon which has cardamom, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg and ginger powders, and baking soda 2 pinches. Now these are the dry fruits that I soaked in alcohol. We will be requiring about 1 cup, so use as needed. I have put raisins, tutti frutti, cranberries, prunes, orange zest, soaked it for 6 months in whiskey. And then we require almonds, walnuts, candied kiwi slices, prunes, some cranberries, tutti frutti, honey and orange marmalade. Actually you can use jam also instead of marmalade, but if you are using jam you need to add orange candied peels because marmalade already has them. So I prefer that. Now let's start the process. First we are going to beat the butter and the organic jaggery or brown sugar, whatever you are using. Mix them first with the spatula. Now we'll start mixing them. I have used salted butter. If you are using unsalted butter, you add quarter teaspoon of salt to the flour and sift it along with the baking powder and soda. Remove from the edges whatever stuck with a spatula and continue beating. In Christmas cake, I actually like to use salted butter. It balances the flavors very well. Now we will add the eggs one by one. Add one egg, beat it for a while. Now the second egg. Continue to beat until you get a nice and creamy texture. Now we'll start adding the flour little by little. Here goes the second spoon. You can divide it into 4 portions and add slowly. Now the baking powder and baking soda are already added to the flour and sifted together. Here goes the third batch. Now you can add all the remaining flour. Christmas cake batter, you might notice, is always denser, unlike the other cakes. Now this is done. The rest of the job will be done with a spatula, adding the spice mix and the marmalade. Using the spatula, give it a nice mix until everything is mixed properly. Now add the diced apple. When you cut the apple, put some lemon juice so that the color doesn't change. You could even add banana if you like. Now the walnut pieces and cashew nut pieces. Cut them into small pieces and just add them. Mix everything and finally add the alcohol soaked dry fruits, about 1 cup. You don't have to dust any flour on them before adding, as the batter is quite dense and they will not sink. Now this is ready to go into the baking tin. Line a baking tin with the butter paper. I've greased it liberally and sprinkled little flour on it. Spoon the mixture into it. Flatten it nicely on the surface with a spatula. Now it's ready to go into the oven. Bake it at 120°C for 2 hours. Christmas cakes have to be slow baked. The larger ones take even 3 to 3.5 hours. Now this took 2 hours and it's ready. Remove it. We'll allow it to cool. It's nice and firm. Insert a stick to check. If it comes out clean, then it is done. After cooling, we'll unmold it. Remove the butter paper. It's nice. The texture is perfect. Cake is ready to be fed with alcohol now. Interesting, isn't it? Prick the cake all over with a skewer or a satay stick. Make holes for the alcohol to soak in. Now I'm taking whiskey, since I soaked my dry fruits in the whiskey. Pour it with a spoon all over. Remember, use the same alcohol that you soaked your fruits in. You should never mix 2 different alcohols. Now pour with a spoon nicely all over the cake. About 6 to 8 tablespoons. This helps in preserving the cake, and also it matures and gives a very good flavor. Once the job is done, we are going to wrap it in a cling film now. Now this should be wrapped nicely with a cling film and refrigerated. This way you can make many cakes and keep them in the fridge. If you want to distribute to your friends, relatives, then make 2 weeks ahead. These cakes stay good for a long time, as I mentioned earlier. Now for glazing the nuts, first dry roast the nuts. Use any nuts of your choice. I have taken almonds and walnuts. You can use pecans, you can use Brazil nuts, anything. Hazelnuts, pine nuts. Dry roasting gives them a nice crunchy texture. Remove and set aside. Now in the same pan, reduce the heat, bring it to medium and heat the marmalade. Heating makes it soft and nice, and you will see that there are already candied peel, fine candied peel added to the marmalade. That's why I prefer marmalade. If you are using jam, you have to add them, or some orange zest. So marmalade is better option. Then the same equal amount of honey as well. 3 to 4 tablespoons of each should be sufficient, as long as it coats the dry fruits. All we need to do is glaze the dry fruits. Now add them one by one. Prunes, cranberries, kiwi slices, candied kiwi slices. Give them a toss. Little bit of tutti frutti for color. Now add the dry roasted nuts. Toss them nicely so that the glazing is coated well on them. Now the mixture is ready to go on the cake. Spoon it on the cake. Spread it around. Now using a small tongs, you can rearrange the fruits nicely. Evenly you can distribute the colors. According to the color combination, you can arrange them. Doesn't it look nice? Delicious cake is ready. Enjoy a slice of it every day. So friends, you must give it a try. This is a nice cake. It's not very difficult to make. It was easy. And if you want to distribute to your friends, you can nicely decorate it with ribbons and silver paper. Put it on a platter or put it in a fancy box. I'm sure your friends will be delighted to get a gorgeous home-baked cake like this one for Christmas. So tempting. Can't wait to taste it. But I think I'll let it mature for a couple of days. Keep it aside in the refrigerator so that it matures, and then we can cut out a slice and do the tasting. So now here it is after 2 days. Carefully cut and remove the ribbons and the paper. Cut out a piece with a knife. Here it is, rich and lovely Christmas cake full of nuts. So friends, wish you all a Merry Christmas and stay tuned for more recipes. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Do subscribe to the channel if you have not done so, and don't forget to click on the bell icon to get notifications about my new videos. Here are some videos from my archives. You might have missed watching them. You can check them out.